Greetings. This is Paul the Poke from PaulthePoke.com. Would appear we have some significant breaking news out of what is southern Ukraine, Russian controlled area. The Nova Kakhovka Dam has ruptured. This is exploding on Twitter, and there's all kinds of video. I chose global military info. The Nova Kakhovka Dam has been destroyed in southern Ukraine. We'll get you some video going here. Now, the main thing I want you to watch is this building structure right here where I have the cursor. It appears to have been broken in half. If you look at this, and then I'm going to show you some other pictures later, half of it appears to be gone. Also, there's some other structures along the dam, and kind of keep a mental inventory of what's taking place on this picture. They are disappearing. You can see part of that's been broken in half right here, and like a piece of it washed on down the river. I believe it's the Dnipro River that we're talking about in southern Ukraine. We're going to talk about consequences, but the main thing is I want you to take a look at this, get a good look at the channel lock system over here to the left. It's gone for right now, but this building, you see it's clearly been affected, and you're going to get a good look at it when it is prior to this event taking place. Now, of course, the question is going to come down to who did it, and if recent history is any indicator, both sides are going to blame the other. Russia's going to say it's Ukraine. Ukraine's going to say it's Russia. Nazis are going to get blamed. We're going to point fingers and blame. Nobody's going to accept responsibility. We're going to look at some evidence, who stands to benefit from an event like this. And I think that's going to become pretty, or appears to be pretty self-evident as to who may have done it. And again, this is breaking as of about 30 to 45 minutes ago. And here you may actually see some of this structure get washed right on down the river as we're talking about. And again, this is from Global Military Info on Twitter. Pretty devastating what is happening, what potentially could happen as a consequence to this dam being broken. This is a big time dam in southern Ukraine. And this is something, a precedent is being set, which is very concerning. Somebody's now done this, and which means, well, if they did it, we can do it. And that's never good. And I'll click over here. Here's the tweet. And again, all links of this are going to be provided, whether you're at PaulthePoke.com or whether you're on YouTube. So if you want to look at these things yourself, keyword these things, all kinds of stuff. Again, it's exploding. We got coordinates, again, global military info, diligently curating and verifying information from diverse sources to ensure accuracy and objectivity. So they say. But again, lots of people are showing this, reporting this. We're going to take a look. This is from Google Maps. Just to give you a little bit of a flavor for where this is taking place. Down here's the Crimean Peninsula, Russian controlled. Russia claims it's theirs, part of Ukraine. Ukraine says it's there. Here is where the plant is located. Again, the Kakhovka hydroelectric power plant. So electrical capabilities, drinking water is a consideration. I do want you to look up river. This is the Zaporizhia area, which is home to a significant nuclear plant, and we're going to talk about that, the considerations related to this nuclear plant. And again, just to take a look at some of this stuff, we're going to look at this more specifically at Wikipedia. Fact box from Reuters: dam 30 meters or yards tall, so we're talking roughly 90 to 100 feet tall, 2 miles in length, built in 1956 on the Dnipro River as part of the Kakhovka hydroelectric power plant and grid system. Skip over here to Wikipedia. Again, the Dnipro River. Don't really care who's in charge. Lock and Power Station. Installed capacity 357 megawatts. Water from the Kakhovka Reservoir is cooling the 5.7 gigawatt Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant. And if that water's gone, the nuclear plant is not allowed to cool. That would be a problem. Potential nuclear ramifications. Also, the water is used to irrigate large areas of southern Ukraine and northern Crimea. Construction began in September 1950. Last generator was commissioned October 1956. 2019 significant repairs and expansion were made to the facility. And this is the building I was telling you guys about in the video. So we have 6 windows there. Let's go back. Take a look at this. We have 6 windows in the good picture where it's in full construction. And we're going to zoom around here with this drone footage. Uh-oh, I only see 2. That's not good. 4 are gone. So 2/3 of the building, as of the filming of this video, 2/3 of the building has been destroyed. I've seen some other videos where it's all wiped away, or parts of it, specifically this little area. I mean, you figure, 1 gallon of water is worth 8 pounds. And I mean, just look at this thing. I mean, the volume of water is absolutely insane. We'll go back to 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine. Power plant was captured by Russian forces during a week of artillery attacks by Ukraine in August, September. Dam itself retained its structural integrity. Russians may have been planning to blow up the dam to slow down Ukrainian counteroffensive, and then we're going to read some other stuff that doesn't make sense. Early November 22, spillways at the dam had been opened, so the Kakhovka Reservoir dropped to its lowest level in 3 decades, putting irrigation and drinking water resources at risk, as well as coolant systems for the nuclear plant upriver. Between December 1st and February 6th, the 23 water level dropped 2 meters. But as of May, so last month, 23, water levels reached their highest recorded levels, and water looked like it had started to flow over the top of the dam. The rise appeared to be the result of Russia keeping too many gates closed. Now, this is what's fascinating. So I guess this would have happened early this morning over there, because here we are, 10:35 Central Time in the United States, roughly 10 to 12 hours. So it does make sense, but somebody wasted not much time documenting this last sentence. On the morning of June 6, 2023, a significant portion of the dam was destroyed, releasing a large amount of water downstream. Boy, we updated that in a hurry, didn't we? So there's that. Also going to take a look at some more tweets. Baytux News, fast, reliable news provider covering geopolitical incidents as they happen. Okay. And so this was from a year ago. What would happen if this dam were blown? And this is where this gets interesting to me, and I'm going to provide a little speculation and analysis here. As we read through this, the consequence of a major attack on the Kakhovka Dam would depend on how much of the structure was destroyed, experts told the Moscow Times. So somebody's talking to Moscow. Moscow Times, state-run by Russian news media. In a catastrophic scenario, destroying the dam would send a highly destructive flood wave down the Dnipro River, causing severe flooding in large areas of southern Ukraine. Backswell would also likely flood the Inhulets River, a tributary of the Dnipro. However, terrain levels mean the flooding would likely be worse on the Russian-held left bank of the Dnipro, making a detonation of explosives on the dam an unlikely move for Moscow. Now, this is a military analyst, Michael Kaufman. He said this on the War of the Rocks podcast last month, probably over a year ago. Destroying the dam would mean Russia essentially blowing its own foot off. Now, this is from a military advisor. I don't know the guy. I don't know where he's coming from. I don't know what his angle is, but it's his perspective. Take it or leave it. It would flood the Russian-controlled part of the Kherson region, much more than the western part that the Ukrainians are likely to liberate. So it would appear, just with some of the initial analysis, if this were to happen at that time, that it would benefit Ukraine more than it would benefit Russia. Secondary effects of blowing the dam would be just as severe for Russia. Lowering the river level behind the dam threatens both water supplies to Moscow, all the way back upriver to Moscow, annexed Crimea, and risks cutting off access to cooling water for the Russian-controlled nuclear power plant in Ukraine's Zaporizhia region. And this was Black's in-game analysis. Blowing the dam would also provoke international outcry. While it may slow Ukrainian troops' advance in the south in the short term, it could serve to further stiffen Ukrainian resolve and will to fight against Russian occupation in the long term. So, based on this analysis, it would appear to benefit Ukraine more than it would benefit Russia. Take it or leave that analysis. Says what it says. This is one man's opinion. This was from NPR, February 10, 2023. So we're talking what? 4 months ago? Russia is draining a massive Ukrainian reservoir, endangering a nuclear plant. Okay. Russia appears to be draining an enormous reservoir in Ukraine, affecting drinking water, agricultural production, and safety at Europe's largest, that's the Zaporizhia, largest nuclear plant, according to satellite data obtained by NPR. Water gushing out of the reservoir. Critical hydroelectric power plants. I mean, you got electricity being affected, drinking water being affected, irrigation being affected, and nuclear safety as a consideration. Here's a graph. Water levels, Kakhovka Reservoir, have dropped sharply. So 16 meters, roughly 50 feet-ish, down to 14 meters, 342. So 8 feet of water, at least 8 to 10 feet of water. Again, irrigation for nearly 500,000 acres of farmland, cooling system for the nuclear plant. The IAEA is on it. I feel much better about this knowing that. Said it is aware of the potential risk posed by dropping water levels at the reservoir. Even though the decreased water levels do not pose an immediate threat to nuclear safety and security, it may become a source of concern if it's allowed to continue. Well, General Rafael Grossi, you've got some concern on your hands. I suspect somebody's en route or has made a phone call by now. Major water source, about the size of the Great Salt Lake in Utah. This dam is the final body of water in a network of reservoirs along the Dnipro River. Supplies Russian-occupied Crimea with water. Okay. Farmland is used to grow sunflowers, grains, and vegetables. It's very important locally. I suspect we're going to be hearing a lot about this. This appears to be a big deal on the surface. Maybe it's not. And again, here's the video. And again, this is from January 2023. Notice the damage is over here on what would be the western area, the Ukrainian area of the dam versus, the video we looked at. These two little gates were the only two gates remaining, and the majority of the damage was closer to the Russian controlled area of the dam. So this is what it is. And again, I suspect both sides are going to point fingers and blame each other. Clearly, from what little analysis I've done on this situation, appears to benefit Ukraine more than it does Russia. And we care about this simply because of Ezekiel 38 and 39. We do know at some point in the future, Russia, along with Turkey, Iran, Libya, Sudan, arguably Ethiopia, and some friends are going to get together and they're going to decide to invade Israel. Russia has committed a lot of resources to Ukraine, and it makes sense that they will use the Crimean Peninsula as an umbilical cord to get down into the Middle East. They've got all kinds of resources already in Syria. And, you have that group of country and, quote, others that will get together to make a move on Israel in Ezekiel 38 and 39. So, big ticket item. I'm going to close with this. This is I'm sorry, it's funny, not funny. But the experts, man, you got to love them. If anything, they're consistent. And I don't care where they are in whatever part of the world. The mayor of Russian-controlled Nova Kakhovka denies reports that the dam has been blown up, saying everything's quiet and calm everywhere here in the city. So don't worry about it. It's all good. You guys shouldn't sweat this. My wife and I were looking at this and we kind of chuckled. Remind us a little bit of when we were on our honeymoon. And our plane's sitting out there on tarmac and at the Philadelphia airport. And got an engine down. We get, the voice of calm and reason from the pilot. I'm not concerned about this. One of our engines is down. We really only need one to fly. I'm not concerned about it, and you shouldn't be either. Okay, thank you, fella. So, mayor of Russian-controlled Nova Kakhovka denies reports. It's all good. Everything's fine. It's quiet and calm here. Don't worry about it. So, gotta love the experts. They're consistent if they're anything. Deny the problem. Tell everybody it's okay. Last thing we need some hysteria. And I'm not trying to promote any hysteria. I think this is a big news item. I think this is something that could potentially swing, frankly, a more violent portion of what we have seen going on between Ukraine and Russia. And, who knows what's going to happen after this. I think it's going to bring some more uncertainty to the situation. And the thing the thing that frankly makes sense when you look at this setup prophetically, at some point, Russia is going to have to put their foot down and bring things into control to where they're going to coalesce a whole bunch of nations to go with them to go into Israel. And they're not in any position to do that right now. But in order for that to happen, they're going to have to prevail here in Ukraine. And they're going to have to do something to where everybody just sits around and kind of stands and watches and refuses to intervene. And also keep in mind, Russian officials spent the weekend in South Africa working with the BRICS nations on the formation of a new currency. I will drop this down. Some leadership from Venezuela flew into Saudi Arabia today. They were talking about probably oil, and you have literally two of the biggest oil producers on the planet getting together. And this future currency with all these parties involved with the BRICS, they want it to be commodity backed. I mean, things are changing, people. Things are changing. So it's been kind of quiet for a while, and then this happened tonight. So we'll keep our eyes on it. If you are interested in these things, please feel free to share with others at PaulthePoke.com. Again, here are all the links that'll be provided. There's the building, and there's the far end of the dam. You know, the damage was back over here in this area, but little landmass, about 2 miles across there. Doesn't look real good. Anyhow, appreciate you guys following along. If you are interested, please feel free to share with others. We'll keep you posted. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.